You are tuned to Channel 90 WMK TV, Palmetto Valley, Royale, Valhallaburg, Pacifica City.
Okay, thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank y'all being here. You guys are amazing. Thank y'all, everybody, for being here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. I am Makini 90 Arts German Illustrating. You're tuned to WMK TV, Channel 90, and you are tuned to the greatest Sunday afternoon art show on YouTube. This is Makini Live, of course. We are back here for another fun Sunday, and this is officially the third of our triple threat of guests that we have had on. So we have had 3 straight guests on Makini Live, and this will be the third one to round it out. And we've had having it start off with Ryan Roger Athay 2 weeks ago, which is a couple weeks ago, which is so much fun to have. And then last week we had amazing, absolutely amazing Sean Art Attack, which hopefully we will have him back on real soon. And for this third guest, it has been a long time coming. It has been a very, very long time. I have been a guest on her channel before, and this is basically me returning the favor. And this is something that it has been just absolutely planned. So, guys, do yourself a favor and get everybody step on. Give a huge, huge, huge round of applause. And welcome to the studio, the one, the only, the lovely Dreaming Tabitha.
Hi, Mom. Oh.
Hello, Miss.
I'm going to Disney World.
Hello, Mama Tabitha. There you go.
No, hello.
Good to see y'all. Good to see you. Good to see you, Tabitha. It's been a long time coming. I know it's been just...
It has. Not as long as me begging Arwen to come on my channel, but it's been long enough.
Pay no attention to the ticker down below. She's probably watching. She's probably watching too.
And I can just hear her laughing. I can.
Yep. We'll have to figure some way. I just
want her to come on my channel so that I can hear her laugh. That's all.
What I was gonna plan to do is plan to have you back on and see if I can schedule it just as right to have you and Arwen on at the same time. But
it's never gonna happen. It's not in the stars. It's not gonna happen.
We gotta use our wizard. We gotta use our wizardry to pull that together.
That's right. Expelliarmus.
What if we trick her? What if we trick her?
Oh.
To coming on Makini Live, and it turns out it's Joyce of Painting.
And I send her a link to my channel.
Exactly. Or you send me the link and I give her the link.
There we go.
You don't know.
Right, exactly. She's happy to talk to you.
Exactly. Exactly. It turns out
we got girl power and all that stuff.
And I'll step away. I'll step away and let y'all two girls go at it.
The only way I can get Arwen on my channel is if I have it on Makini's channel.
I know, right? Exactly. Speaking of
which, no, it's all good.
Speaking of which, how do you like the studio? I figured you.
The studio?
Yeah, this is the studio right here. This is our first
show. I think it's got like this noir feel to it, which is pretty cool.
It's all 90s, It's all, I've embraced.
90s. Like, I'm way off by like several decades. I was kind of getting like this. Yeah, kind of like this old school Hollywood vibe, which is kind of cool.
That was last season. We did like the freaking 1920s silent movie.
Just with the font style alone, just kind of reminded me.
You know what the funny thing is? Actually, the funny thing about the Broadway font is that it's used in Miami Vice. It's the official logo.
I was gonna say, yeah, I could see with the color scheme with that salmon color in the background, kind of got some
and the grid-based layout, which was taken from
definitely got some Florida vibes there.
Taken from the Sega Master System, but yeah. Anyway, but yes, we went full. As you probably could tell by the intro, we went full 90s on this for this season.
Well, it was a great era.
It was, and I'm proud to be born in that era.
Same.
Era. So, but speaking of which, I know you guys see 2 specific white squares down at the bottom. Both of my 2 illustrious co-hosts they will be here. They're just going to be running late.
Well, in the words of Taylor Swift, I've got a blank space, baby, and I'll write your name.
Exactly. Now, so we will be doing a public shaming of both of them when they arrive.
We've already done that. So.
Oh, no. I got something special. Speaking of which, before we say hi to the chat and before we really get into the topics, let me go ahead and turn my camera on right here, as you can not see a damn
He's
thing.
fancy.
Right, it's fancy.
I'm
You know what?
basic.
I'll show you fancy. I will show you fancy.
Basic
I will
white
show you.
chick here.
It's you know what? You know what? Here, I'm gonna turn my camera on. This is my window, and there we go. Why is it not?
It almost looks like Tomb Raider.
It's Fortnite.
Close enough.
It is close enough, but yeah, I'm on the line art portion. I'm like an hour and a half in, nearly an hour and a half in on the line art portion, because what I was talking to my friends Jinja, Bandito, and Eric O'Sullivan on an art stream that they do early in the morning when I wake up. I tell them that from this point onward, I have to be at least 50 or 75% into the line work, into the line art before we go live. No excuses. After last week, I am done trying to start a drawing from scratch, at least digitally. I am done trying to start from scratch. It's so...
Didn't realize the public shaming was going to be for me. Okay.
That wasn't for...
I literally just started sketching like right as we were talking before the show.
Hold on a second. No.
Like, well, hang on, let me catch up. Like, you keep talking, I'll catch up. Let me speed draw you.
You have enough time. You had enough. That intro is at least 5 minutes long, so you had enough time to get something together. Okay.
Right. Oh, sure. I got like 5 minutes to try to get this. And on top of that, my dog ate my kneaded eraser. So I am eraser.
Are you serious right now?
I was freaking out, and the eraser that I have is crumbling apart. And
so you're using the "my dog ate my homework" bit right here live.
I am, because I can't find my other kneaded eraser. She ate it, and she's still with us, thank God. But I don't know how.
I got like a whole box.
Stop bragging. All right, that's just me.
I was gonna say I could send one over to you.
Yeah, California, all the way from here.
You don't know the advancements in technologies here.
Right. Right. If they could have transporters with like StreamYard links, that would be fantastic. So I'm gonna try to draw this with.
Hey, we got you to the studio. All
without erasing anything, which is irritating.
We rolled out the red carpet and everything. So
I appreciate it.
Exactly. And so I will be doing some channel member stuff. Tabitha is going to work on some magic. We're both going to be making magic today. So
let's make some magic.
Exactly. Before we get started on making that magic, let's say hi to everybody in the chat. Thank y'all, everybody, for being here. Like I said, Bruce Lombardo and Mads MamaBear will be here in about half an hour's time. They are running late, and we will be shaming them, or at least I will be, because I have something special planned just for them. So
I don't know them well enough to shame them, but I can give it my best.
You don't need to. You don't need to. Let me do the talking here. Just to understand.
I got your back, Jack. Okay, if you need me, I'll
understand here that understand here. There's consequences when you run late, especially this late. Okay,
that's right. I show up early and I get rebuked. All right.
You showed up early, then disappeared right when I'm about to show up.
Nobody was here.
You're saying hi to everybody in the production team. You're in the studio just waiting for me, and I'm running out to get to you, and then you just walk backstage. I'm like, what the?
I felt insulted because I was like, well, I'm the only leper at the party. So.
Yeah, I didn't. You know me. That is not how I do things here.
There's always room for change.
Yes, there
just like Jello.
Exactly. Where are we going right now?
I don't know. Chat. You were gonna get to the chat.
Yeah, let's get to the chat, guys, please. Listen, links to all of Tabitha's links to all of the Tabitha's socials are in the description, guys. If you're not subscribed to her, please do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button now. Just do it now. Get those watch hours up. Let's get the monetization up.
Yeah.
So she can finally get super chats. So she can get paid to do more artsy stuff. And
I like it. Yeah.
And maybe we can build up a super chat fund. maybe we can build a fund.
So we can pay Arwen to come on my channel?
Exactly. Exactly. I will flip the bill. I will
she's
tell her
just
I
in
will
it for
pay
the
her
money.
extra. I will put all my super chat money into her and pay it to her to let her come on this channel.
Oh my god.
Because at this point,
Right.
it's been going on a little too long.
That's right. Artists are a desperate folk. There is no low we won't stoop to produce what we want.
Yes. Let's stick with that. Okay.
Oh, we might disagree,
guys.
apparently.
Please, yeah. If you guys not subscribe to Dreaming Tabitha, do yourself a favor. Please subscribe to her right now. She really, she truly deserves it. Absolutely deserves it. You guys, of course, guys, please step on that like button, share the stream out. If you guys are brand new here, hit that subscribe button. We're working our way towards 1,500 before the end of the year. So I'm going realistic here. It used to be 2K before the end of the summer, so let's just be more realistic.
Oh, come on now. What does that song say?
Before the end of the year.
If your dreams don't scare the heck out of you, you're not dreaming big enough.
I know. I'm just dreaming realistically. Okay. To quote Justin Bieber, never say never. That is the only time I will ever quote him. So just celebrate that.
I'll remember that.
As long as that lasts. Yeah. That was the only time I will ever quote Justin Bieber on this show.
To be fair, he didn't write that song, so it's okay.
Exactly. And if you guys want to support me further and get access to exclusive art drops that I do each month, you can become a channel member for as low as $1 a month. You can join the CSF Nation today. First up, we gotta say hi to one only Power 700 long time support the channel. Good to see you, Power. And he has said the Makara Banks show is on.
Makara.
It's like Tyra Banks, because this is like a talk show, basically.
America's next top artist.
I wish. I wish. Yes. Jesus.
Yeah, like, why isn't that a thing?
Think like Oprah or Ricky Lake in the 90s. So that's
oh my. You get a pencil. You get a pencil.
Exactly. You all get a pencil. Because that's all as much as I can afford.
Right.
Zombie box
Number 2
reviews.
pencils that come in a pack of like 15.
You know what? If we get big enough, I'm gonna be like, you get a tablet, you get a tablet, you get a tablet. Nice. Everybody gets a tablet.
Now that is a dream that will scare you. There you go. Perfect. Balances
exactly.
it out.
Zombie box reviews. Good to see you, my friend. Power 700. Makini giving Sonic characters better muscle than canned penders out in these drawing streets. What? Just I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Rocky, the Black Dragon. Rocky, good to see you, my friend. And all of you making some awesome material. Keep going. Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you. And of course, yes, the Xbox showcase is on, but I don't care. Going through Persona Tactics, also Forza, Alice RPG, and sports coming soon. Nice. And I was watching the showcases. Yes. I thought I lost my stump all this week. The struggle is real. Vera and Yellow Flash 2 are wrong, 100% wrong about Capcom and Koei Tecmo. They don't have ESG scores, a so-called ethics department. They don't have any of these things. Okay, gotcha. MamaBear, she might not be on her. She might not be here on her stream yesterday. I know she's gonna be running late. She told me last Sunday, so no, she will be here. What about Japan stuff? Good question. They're wrong. Okay, let's okay. TZ Burton, good to see you, my friend. Cavatino, when Makini sees Cammy in Street Fighter 6, he thinks yum. Yes, of course I do. Also, Mike, what is your opinion on the Twitch regulations? But have to pull it back. You know what? That's a good discussion we'll get into later, because I know Tabitha has a Twitch as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she does not realize that I have one too.
I realized it. I saw you the other day.
I did. Oh, you did? Okay. Forget I asked. Okay,
I
erase that last
people on the internet.
Take that last sentence out. Okay, let's put that last sentence away. Okay.
Everywhere.
Forget I said that last sentence then. Or this sentence. Or the sentence coming after it. Coked up narcissistic thin skin bastard. Don't give shit about the. What are you talking about, Rocky? Who are you talking to? I'm not coked up yet. I'm not thin-skinned yet. I don't have 412 subs yet. K subs yet. And I don't have 4.9K videos yet. Like you said, dream big, okay?
All right. Dream big or stay home in your mother's basement like the rest of us.
We do not belong in a basement. You know that.
No.
We belong out into the world.
Free
we belong sharing our creativity to the world. All right. Speaking of which, I need to relax my brain. This is, you relax your brain with art, which I did find a study that if you do some art for like 45 minutes a day, it's actually beneficial to your health.
Ooh. Yeah, it's like stress relieving, I would think.
Yes. Might get your day started too. Which, if you guys are having the kids on the Mondays, you get started with Makini in the morning, which is 7 a.m. on the Makini Draws channel right after 0 hour on Loki's Mornings of Mischief. See that plug? You see that plug I did there? See that segue I did there? There you go. It's my channel. I can do what I want. Okay.
This is true.
It's my show.
No shame.
I am drawing Highwire, which was one of the premier skins in last season's Battle Pass in Fortnite. So I do a Fortnite drawing each month for my channel members. So that has always been the plan. Okay. So let's get to the guest of honor here, ladies and gentlemen. Tabitha.
Yeah, who is that? Oh,
well, that would be you, in fact.
Oh, it's me. Okay.
Exactly. That is you. Okay.
Let's talk about me. All right. I grew up in.
We don't have to go. We don't have to go that far. We don't have to go that far back.
Oh, but that's all part of the juicy story that is Tabitha.
Okay. All right. No. It's all yours. Okay, then if you want to go that far back, well, your humble beginnings.
My humble beginnings. I was born on the Western home front amidst tyranny and smallpox, and if it wasn't for the shooting out random catastrophic moments in history.
It was in this catastrophic moment in history that a legend was born.
That's right. It was my brother, and
We're trickling all the way down to you, exactly.
Right.
It's gonna get to you. We're gonna get to y'all. We're gonna get to her. Just you wait, y'all.
Right.
It's getting good.
Well, he came first, so there's no trickle. I'm the trickle down.
Okay,
no,
the
well,
real
I mean,
legend begins.
Well, I mean, people do find it fascinating that I wasn't born in the United States. I'm a military
Really?
brat. Yeah, I'm a military brat, and I was born outside of the U.S. in a tiny little country called Panama, and I loved it there.
Sorry, I can't sing that because you know.
Copyright. Or you just can't sing. I don't know. It's
Sorry, I think about Van Halen. A second. Go ahead.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, I mean, people just find that fascinating. I was born 2 days after the war that took place down there that nobody talks about or cares about. And
are you saying that your birth ended the war?
I was supposed to have been birthed during the war, but apparently I told my mom, no thanks, I'm going to wait 2 days afterwards and then I'll be born.
Ended it. See, that was a day in history.
Yes, exactly. And it's always a fascinating story, especially when my mom talks about it, just because there were like when she was being transported to the hospital to deliver me, like there were bullet holes in the hospital, Jeeps were on fire. Born in a time of turmoil.
I will be honest with you, that kind of sounds epic.
I was gonna say, a lot of people, like when they hear my mom talk about it, they're just like, that is amazing. So like before I was born, there were snipers in the jungle and all this kind of stuff. They weren't allowed to stand up and turn the lights on.
It was like Mary or something here.
It was awful.
Life and limb to give life.
This is, yeah, exactly. And
It's like a Sarah
you know,
Connor situation going on right now.
I mean, can you imagine what that would do to a pregnant woman with a toddler? And my dad wasn't close by because he was busy working and doing the stuff. They had sent him somewhere. He couldn't get a flight or a helicopter in. And we're in a third world country. My mom is a foreigner. She doesn't speak English very well. So she's like, and then
You're
out of
here,
all
ladies
of that
and gentlemen.
comes Tabitha.
You're
So,
here. This is the savior of Panama, the savior of the
savior of
human race.
Panama. I like that. I should totally make that like one of my gamer tags.
The savior of
in the
Panama,
future.
right
The
there, baby.
savior of Panama. I like it. So, but I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I kind of wonder if some of what I saw when I was growing up, I didn't see any hardships and things like that when I was, well, that's not true. I didn't see any devastations necessarily from the war, but I did see a lot of struggle and hardship. Of course, living in a third world country, you'll see
Right.
things that you won't necessarily see here. I saw a lot of
Mhm.
people that were poor. And when I say poor, I don't mean like USA poor. I mean like
No, I mean actual poor. Yeah.
dirt poor, having
Yeah, dirt
nothing
poor.
and nobody to help them
Yeah.
out. I saw people who were born with their legs backwards or born with no legs.
Mhm.
I saw people who lived in huts in the middle of nowhere with dirt floors, and they just had like plastic walls, and they had a towel for a door, and the bathroom was a
Right.
bucket outside, and you had 3 people living in one shack. And like I saw a lot of that stuff, but I think that just the colors of Panama, and speaking about more like happy things, I saw a lot of vibrant colors, interesting things, and I don't know if that plays a part in any of my artistic endeavors, but I wouldn't doubt it does in some fashion.
From what I've seen,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised. I mean that. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, you know, what we see shapes us, it molds us and influences us and inspires
It's
us.
the force. It's basically
I
the force.
It's the force. So, hang on, let me get my 3 fingers. It binds us, surrounds.
Exactly.
So I do like a lot of vibrant colors and things like that. I can't say I do anything neon or whatever, but the rule in Panama is, as in any South American or Central American country, if it's pretty, it will kill you. So I will have to say I don't do a lot of it. I wish I did more. I do like the fact that, you know, you do a lot of female artist work.
I feel like that should be the tagline of your art. Her art is
What?
pretty, so it will kill you.
I kind of wish, because I really have a goal, a dream. I have a dream. I would love to do more artwork where I draw or paint beautiful but deadly women.
The towels, I see.
And it would just be really cool. So I wonder if that's kind of like a reflection. So, like, you know, if you saw a pretty flower, if you saw a pretty spider, a pretty frog, a pretty fish, like, it was poisonous. And you learn quickly. Not people ask, like, how can kids like survive, or how did you survive? And it's like, you just get used to it. Like, you learn the rules, right? So, like, you know, I went to church and in school and stuff like that down there. And if the dodgeball, the rule was also don't go into the long grass, kind of like in Jurassic Park. It's like one of my favorite lines in Lost World. Don't go into the long grass.
Exactly.
But sometimes we played dodgeball, and because the way they built things in Panama, they literally would just carve out sections in the jungle, build a little place, and then move on. And so there was wilderness all around us. And
so you were one with the nature.
Sort of, yeah, kind of had to be. We saw sloths, toucans, we all had iguanas for pets and stuff like that. But, you know, if the dodgeball went into the long grass, then we as the little kids knew, you go get an older kid, and that older kid does as few jumps into the long grass as possible. And then jumps back.
You're that colorful, beautiful animal
that will kill
in
you.
South America that everybody has to stay away from because they will kill you, because you will kill them.
Oh man, right? I hope I'm not. It makes me sound like a succubus.
Not like that, okay?
What you trying to say?
You're the dangerous, venomous iguana. How about that? You're really colorful, bright. I am not sure where I'm going with this right now.
I don't either, Miss Great.
You may continue. I'm sorry.
I just like, see, well, that's what a deadly woman does. We just let men talk and dig themselves into a ditch, and then we just point and laugh and be like, yeah, this, you got to hear on your own. This is, you said that.
Kills me. That's how she kills me. I have to tell
That's,
you.
that's how women kill it. They don't have to, because people dig their own graves.
I'm gonna be dead by the end of this show.
Right. Right. Rather than trying to save you and say, you might want to stop here. We're like, nope, let's just see where this goes.
It's gonna be Makini Live's gonna turn into Tabitha Live.
How's everybody doing today?
That'd be brilliant.
No, but I mean, you probably were wondering, like, a lot of people, when I first started podcasting, of course, like a lot of others, they'll be invited to other shows, and they're like, you find out you're an artist. So what inspired you? Where did you get started? And all that stuff. So, I mean, my mom is artistic. She's very crafty as well. Right. And so she kind of got us started with that. We didn't, like a lot of people, we didn't have a lot of money growing up. So we had to get kind of creative with our Christmas presents. So, I can make pretty much anything out of a sock. Okay. So,
you heard it here first.
You heard it here first. I can pretty much make anything out of a sock. So we've had all kinds of crafts, and it just kind of took off from there, but nothing ever like really serious. You were just kind of kids that just played outside, had fun. I can't say that I had a lot of artistic inclinations necessarily. We just drew and painted because that's what we did. It was an easy, cheap, affordable hobby. But when I became a preteen and then into my early teen years, I didn't have a lot of friends. The way we were moved around and just different aspects in our life. I was homeschooled. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. We're not the freaks that everybody thinks that we are. I went to college. Okay. I have friends. I have family. Like, I go outside and touch grass from time to time.
Considering the education system right now, that's probably recommended.
This is true. Now, don't get me wrong. But the thing is, it's just like anything else. If you don't have proper parenting,
yep,
you will have issues. So I know people that didn't have parents to reinforce and help them along in their homeschooling journey. So those kids struggled, and they weren't necessarily as academically intelligent as other people would be. They were behind. I get it. But I have lots of friends who were homeschooled. They went off to college, prestigious colleges, graduated with degrees, started families, got great jobs. Like, it all has to, it goes always back to the parents.
Learned early on that there is more than one path to success in life. More than one.
Exactly. And I mean, I'm a prime example of that too. I won't say that my parents were bad at homeschooling, but number one, like my dad being in the military, he was gone a lot. And then my mom is not from this country. So there were things that she did learn differently growing up, or she didn't quite understand as well as some people, because this was not her home country. And so there was a lack of self-confidence on my part. So if I wasn't, I think this is where that artistic thing comes in there. You know how it is. If you're not good at something, then it's just trash, right? And so that translated into my academic career, where I, like a lot of artists, I wasn't good at math. And so because everybody around me seemed to prioritize math and not artwork, and I don't mean my fam. Right. Right. And so, which is so funny, because later on you find out how much math you kind of need for artwork. So they don't.
That's where you end up learning it.
And you just learn on your own. And so, but I dropped out of school. Yes, you can actually drop out of homeschool, if anybody was wondering. And I quit. I was like, I'm too stupid. I understand.
I get it.
Yeah. I was a total failure, because things were difficult for me. And that was during a time frame where learning challenges was not really recognized or known, rather wasn't taken seriously. And my parents weren't like trying to neglect me or anything. It was just more of like ignorance. You can't know how to fix something if you don't think it's a problem. And not that they weren't trying to help me. They did. My parents did try to help me. But, sometimes...
Sir, can I tell you this right now?
Mm-hmm.
You are not a total failure. You never was.
Well, and I had to. It took me a long
Just wanted
time
to
to
try.
realize that. I appreciate that. It took a long time to realize that. So I dropped out of school, and that was always my. I love school, though. To be honest, I love learning,
Absolutely.
and even if I'm not good at something, I do and still enjoy learning. So eventually, I somehow was able to get into college. I went into my community college, took art classes because I didn't know what to do with my life, and honestly, that was part of my my spiritual walk, which is a huge part of my life. And everybody I knew wanted to become nurses. So you know, you kind of you're influenced by the people around you, right? And so I figured I needed to do that too.
Nurse
And
Tabitha.
oh, that's not good. I also have a lot of family members that are in the medical community as well, and so
Okay.
it just kind of felt like I was supposed to. You know, I was young and easily influenced, all that stuff. And I remember praying, and I was like, God, you know, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm desperate. Like, should I go to nursing? Should I take photography? Because I was into photography at that time, you know, or and artwork and stuff like that. And I remember him almost like whispering, speaking to me, and just artwork, like drawing, told me to go into that. So I took a class in community college, one of my favorite classes, drawing. And I had one of the most awesome teachers. I had like such great teachers. I think I only had one teacher I did not like in all of my college education. And Miss Sandra Terry. She was like this modern gypsy woman. She's so cool. Legitimately shows up to class in combat boots and like a green tutu. It's awesome.
You know what?
And
That screams art teacher. That just screams art teacher.
and the best way possible. She was just awesome. She's so funny. She was, you know, older lady, and she had like this
Right.
short curly hair, this hook nose. I loved her. She's
Right.
great. She'd always have lots of breaks during class because she smoked, and so then the other students would go outside and join her. You know, we all liked her. She's great. She let us pick our own music and stuff. And I'll never forget one of the things so we did observation drawing, okay? And I didn't know that was a thing, right? Like I didn't know there was a class. Observation drawing. We were only supposed to draw what we saw, not anything else. And she would put stuff in the room, like in the center of the room. It was like cars, tarp, foam cups, the jawbone of a horse, and a pillar. And that was pretty much every week, like 3 times a week. That's all we did. It was just she'd make some kind of weird collage of items, and we just sat there and drew, and we had to draw what we saw.
Right.
I think they used draw and drew out the wrong way. But anyway, homeschool.
Still,
No, I'm just kidding. That was fascinating. You know, she'd come around and she would study what I was drawing, and she would look at me, and she kind of had this little impish glint in her eyes. And she'd point to something on my paper, and she'd say, "Is that up there?" And I'd look up there, and it's like, "Oh, it's not." She's like, "Yeah," and just walk away. Like that was it. And
that was a different experience for me.
Everybody's different. She was really down to earth, really mellow. Who knows what she was really smoking when she was outside. But she never really criticized what we did. It's just more like she pointed things out. And that was really helpful. It just kind of made you not necessarily feel subconscious. I was not very good. I was extremely shy, not very good in social settings, but I wanted to go to college, so I paid for my classes and I went. And it was such a great experience. And then I met other great artists while there, and they were encouraging as well. And so it just gave me the boost that I needed. And I really liked to draw. I'd always wanted to be able to draw people. And I never got to draw people in that class, but it's still very fun. I remember that one time she's circling around, you know, watching what we're doing. And just randomly in the middle of class, she's like, you know, if it wasn't for my generation, you guys wouldn't have granola.
That carried with you for the rest of your life, didn't it?
It did, because because there was this awkward silence, and then Grayson, this one kid on the other side of the room, he looks up at her and he's like, "Thank you." You know, you're talking to a bunch of 18 and 20-year-olds. Like, what do we care about granola? It's like, it's just this random fact. But anyway, from there, I just started dabbling in different art classes. I took graphic design and I took photography and the history, of course, like, art history and things like that stuff you got to
Yeah.
take. And I never graduated college. Just different life events happened, but I never actually went to do the core classes that I needed to do, right?
Mhm.
As far as in the well-rounded area, because I was always afraid. It's one of those awful, awkward things where you tell yourself, well, I'm stupid, so I'll just be an artist, which is horrible.
That's
You know,
not, no, that's
it's really horrible because you think, well, because artwork, I think it's a little different now, but a lot of times when people say, I want to be an artist, it's not really taken seriously because it's not a secure, and that's the thing, it's not a secure job. It doesn't
no, it's not.
it doesn't belittle the
No, it's not.
demand and the discipline of artistry,
No, the
but
demand will always be there. It's,
always be there. It's just that it's not looked at as a serious career until you make a lot of money.
right.
And then suddenly people are like, oh, they're a serious artist. It's like, yeah, but you
Mhm.
have to take those L's along the way and
To
those
get- finally
menial
get-
jobs to get there. And so I wasn't really surrounded by people like myself. So I felt very isolated. I felt very alone. Even the friends that I had, none of them were artists. And so
I can get that feeling.
so you just feel like you don't have any practical aspirations. And
Right.
for me, like, it was just confusing because it's like I
sorry.
do my eyes deceive me?
Do our eyes deceive us? I do declare. Hopefully she stays long enough to look at the ticker, but don't pay attention to the ticker. But Arwen, speaking of dropping out, on streams. Sorry, I had to go there.
I see that
So
now.
you
I
can
hope
see
you're
our-
doing well, Arwen.
I know we got a Fortnite raid from Mark, and thank y'all so much, guys. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate that. We're two people. Both of our co-hosts are running late, so Tabitha is half Filipina. He's a
What?
to take up. That's what Kivatino was saying.
Oh no, I'm not. It's a compliment, but thank you.
That is a
I'm
compliment.
not-
That is
I'm
I
not.
would take that as I would take that as a compliment because at my real life job, most of my coworkers are Filipino. So
Those are a group of people that can sing. My
Yes,
gosh, they're
they
so
can.
talented in the vocal community.
I still have this weird belief that my future wife is gonna be Filipino.
Could happen.
Could happen.
Could happen.
Like,
But
anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
but yeah, I just speaking of Arwen, I just felt isolated and unwanted and just kidding.
She better not read the ticker at the bottom.
She's so funny.
I know.
She's great.
Anyway, continue.
So yeah, art not necessarily being something that people encourage the youth to aspire and pursue. And so it's just a lot of confliction there and just being confused, and I just kept telling myself I'm stupid. And so actually, because I had dropped out of high school and I was so ashamed and just highly embarrassed, what I did was it's so funny, I used to hate reading when I was little because it required work, and effort. But when I dropped out of school, I started reading more because, and I started
change.
Well, I started. Well, my reason was, it's so funny. I started reading old books, classic pieces of literature, so that I would look and sound smarter than I really was, in my opinion. And I increased my vocabulary exponentially. And so when I would hang out with adults and things like that, nobody ever thought that I was a high school dropout because and I'm not like tooting my own horn, just calling out facts. As far as academics go, or literature wise and grammar, I was very intelligent and very knowledgeable. And also being very respectful to people who are older than me, just because I think it had to do with
Exactly.
church background and being in the military, and also with my
Exactly.
mom being from Europe, that, you know, being European, she had a different culture.
Which part of
And
Europe, if I could?
she's
If I
from
could ask?
Germany.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, she's from Germany. And so there's a lot of things there that's very formal. And so
Mhm.
people just suspected that I was already in college because, if you will, my external appearance, what I said, um, people had no idea that in my eyes, I was a failure. I basically put a mask over top of it, which actually just benefited me anyway. So when I went to
Right.
college and I was doing all this artwork, I'm like, I want that stupid piece of paper that says I graduated high school. Like, it doesn't mean a lot to many people these days, but I wanted it. I wanted a piece of paper that for me said I wasn't
Mhm.
stupid. I needed to prove it to myself. And so eventually I worked up the nerve to face my demons, because I'm self-diagnosed, but I believe I'm spot on, is that dyscalculia. So it's essentially dyslexia. For those who don't know, it's essentially dyslexia with numbers.
I see.
And so, to kind of paraphrase Winnie the Pooh, it's good math. It's just that the numbers get all wobbly. And so it's very difficult for me to remember things with numbers besides the basics. And I can't really do it in my head because I can't see it. I'm very much a visual learner as well. And
Same here.
so, well, yeah, many artists are. And again, it would have been different if I would have had a community of people that shared similarities and everything. But when you don't have anybody that's like you in your struggles, you feel like you're all alone. Especially, I think, as a teenager, we are pretty self-absorbed as teenagers.
Oh yeah.
Not like we're
Yeah.
trying to be, but it's just the way we're
It's
wired, I
nature.
think.
It's just
Yeah.
nature. That's just how it
We
is.
haven't realized that there's a big grand world out there that's very different than what we think it is. And so I went back to school for the classes that I needed, and I cried so hard in my math classes when I would have to study at home, and I get so angry, and I just couldn't remember things. I couldn't retain the information that I was learning. And it's probably one of the I remember I remember I was on Drunk 3PO's channel a couple of years ago, and he
Right.
asked me, "What's your greatest accomplishment in life?" And I said, "Getting an A+ on my math test." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "There isn't a mountain out there you haven't climbed or something like that. A math test."
For
And I was
you,
like, "Hey,
that's
that
for you.
I was gonna
That's
say
the world. You know.
that was the world." And when I explained, he understood. But yeah,
Mhm.
I can see where, right away it's just like, that's it, a math
No,
test.
no, I get it. I totally get it. It's I
Yeah,
struggle with
and
math
so
too.
when I took my first math class, the first one that I needed, I studied my butt off because I'd never gotten a good grade in math ever, and that was the whole reason I had dropped out of school, the whole reason I felt like a failure, the whole reason that I told myself I was stupid. And I mean, the day before the final quiz, I did 8 hours of studying and just cried and sweated and got mad. But that day when I did my math class, I got 100%, every answer right, A++. It was like a miracle. And I like to always point this out, and not a prideful way, but kind of like a high five, self high five. But like, so our teacher cut the class or the test in half essentially. And she said the front page we could do without our calculators, and on the back page we could do with our calculators. I did the entire test without a calculator. And when I went forward, because she was actually really sweet, Mrs. Edwards. She was a no-nonsense lady, but she was nice. I guess she knew that all of us were struggling. But she would actually check the first half of our paper
Right.
and then give us a second chance, basically, if we got anything wrong. I got nothing wrong. And she was even dazed that, which is really sad, that I was able to do the entire test without a calculator. And I tell you what, I probably don't retain any of the information that I learned.
If I could,
But Mhm.
because this is reminding me of my situation.
Yeah.
Like you, I struggled in math. I struggled in
Mhm.
math from middle school all the way to high school, and I failed the math portion of our, I guess it was our tax or Texas assessment or SATs. I failed that 3 times.
Mm.
I failed it 3 times, and basically told if I failed it again, I wouldn't graduate.
Wow.
So not only did I have my math teacher help me, I had basically every other math teacher help me get through that.
That's nice.
That was a struggle. And when the test finished, I wasn't happy about it. I wasn't feeling sure about it. I was just hoping that, I could be able to get through it. Then I was in a computer class and I got a call to the front office, and I figured, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to repeat the grade. I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
able to graduate. What happened? Everybody in the front office was clapping for me.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
nice.
I passed it, and I was able to walk across the stage
Yeah.
a month later.
See, and nobody else knew my struggles, so I really
Mhm.
felt like I was alone. And that's
Mhm.
beautiful that you were not necessarily having to face that by yourself, and that your teachers cared enough.
I had every math teacher help me with that, and some of
That's
the
so
nicest
wonderful.
people I've ever met. And
I don't think those
so-
people in my class really could have, because I didn't talk to anybody. They didn't understand
Mhm.
what that meant to me. I got, when she when she gave me that paper, I'm getting emotional.
Mhm.
Man, when she wrote down in that blue letter A with a plus and circled it, and then told me I was free to go and put a 100% on it, man, it was everything I could do not to cry in the hallways. And
Exactly.
I like briskly walked out of that building and I took a picture. And I think my mom was in Germany at the time, and I took a picture and I sent it to her, and I'm just like in tears, and I'm like, I did it. And then she said she was crying for me.
Exactly.
Because she knew my struggle as well, and she just didn't know how to help me, We didn't have the resources back then.
God, it's weird. It's just such a kind of like a weird. It's almost like a weird parallel. It's almost like an opposite parallel, though, if you think about it, because for me, I told you my story when I had when we had me on, and it's so weird hearing you kind of describe your art journey, because for me, it wasn't like that. For me, it was like every art teacher. I think the fun thing was that when I did, because the sea turtle project I did in 4th grade, that was what you were doing. You were just drawing what you were looking at. And because everybody, including the elementary school art teacher, was so impressed by the amount of detail that I put into it, I think that was always something that kind of people saw that it's just like, somebody who struggled. And I think that's what it was with me. It's like I struggle so much with basic fundamentals, but yet I'm able to back it up with detail. Yeah, I put so much detail in my work, and I'm so talented behind that. And that was something I've always felt like that was, even going into an art school, that was always been, I almost felt like that was a crutch, honestly. Almost like it was a crutch, just because.
What, feeling guilty for being talented?
Kinda. It was a crutch that I struggled so much in trying to learn
trying to learn the basic fundamental stuff, even in life drawing and such like that. But yet, because you had this eye for detail, and you picked up so many, you had this eye for detail, and you just, you know, you were talented enough to be able to turn that into, able to make that somehow work. But yet I looked at, you know, other artists around me who were able to get those fundamentals down and able to just kind of just.
No matter how good you are, it's never enough when you look at other people.
Yeah, and that was God, that was my biggest struggle for the past. I want to say for the past 10 years. That was my biggest struggle, was envy.
I think a lot of us,
you know,
because we don't.
Not just like envious of just like people who were talented to me, but it was like I was envious of people who basically had less, like you, people who had less, and was able to accomplish so much more. And was somebody who has so much to him, and you know, you wanted to prove to yourself, and you wanted to prove to everybody around you that you grew up with everything, and yet you pretended like you had nothing, and that's what gave you incentive to work just as hard. You wanted to work just as hard as they do. You wanted to succeed. You want to be in that same, you know, in the same trenches as they are, trying to make sure that, you know, nobody. That's why I took that's why for the longest time I took a heavy stance when people say I'm talented. It's like, I don't want to be recognized for that. I don't want people to see that it's just talent. It's like, no, this is fucking, you know,
interesting
hard work. You know, this is hard work. That's what I want people. I want to see people's hard work. It's skill. I had to fucking work through, you know, having to fucking work through my own demon, which was envy, which was jealousy. I had to work through that.
I worked through
just
that
to
all
get
the
to
time.
where I am. Yeah, where I am. I still am. I feel like I'm much better than I was when I was at like 19.
Well, I would think so. I mean, that's a big part of life. And that was something that I learned. So after I accomplished that, I proved to myself. Well, no. What I'm saying is, like, with envy and growing, it's like after I proved to myself that I wasn't stupid, I just had a problem, right? Getting that A and realizing that I am bad at math. I am not gifted at math. It is a challenge for me. But it meant so much more than just getting that, than being able to do math. I proved to myself that if I really, truly wanted to overcome something, I could. Like, it was such a bigger lesson than just that. And I will say, so I kind of got late starting with artwork, you know. So when I went to college and all these people had taken art in high school. So when I did my classes in high school at home, I didn't have art class because we just did. I don't think my parents looked at it the same way as like public schools and stuff like that. We didn't look at it as necessarily as like part of the curriculum. We already were doing art, so we didn't get graded for that. You know, and again, just didn't know. Homeschooling was still kind of new back then too. Like, it was still kind of rusty, if you will. So, you know, things have changed since then. But so when I went to college and everybody had already taken classes in high school, and like everybody was so much more talented. I won't say, excuse me, let me reword this. Everybody was so much more skilled than I was. And I looked at it as talented. And it took years before I realized what the difference between talent and and skill is. You know, talent is what you're born with. Skill is what you hone your talents with. You know, you could have a stick that has potential to be a spear, but you've got to sharpen the stick in order to become a weapon. So I feel like I am myself personally very behind in what I could be. But when I take a step back and look at the artwork that if I really take my time to do, rather than just doing these godforsaken shorts and entertainment things on YouTube and reels on Instagram, if I really take the time, if you really look at the portfolio that I'm truly proud of, I am very happy with the progress that I've made. And being able to teach other people artwork has definitely showed me again that there are areas that we are talented and skilled at more than other people. And just because it looks different from somebody else's, I have to say this to myself all of the time, just because my artwork might look different than somebody else's doesn't make it bad or wrong. I say that a lot. That might just need to be my slogan. It doesn't make it bad or wrong. It's just different. And I think we all might know what bad artwork is. There's kind of a fine line.
I don't really judge on that. I really
Right.
don't. Like, it's
There's a fine line between bad artwork and something that's different or unskillfully done. You know, like bad artwork, in my opinion, is when you sell a white canvas for $6 million. That's bad
Right.
artwork. Okay,
Right.
because it's not artwork. Telling a fancy story with a blank canvas is not artwork, in my opinion. But we can all agree to disagree.
Yeah,
but
that's subjective.
but it's just amazing how far, and that's the thing too, is realizing that people don't just jump into this and are automatically good.
No.
There are some people that are prodigies, but that's very
Right.
rare. That's like 0.7% of the world in
Yeah,
each genre.
No, I've honestly, it's like, listen to you talk about this. It was just like the thing for me. It was like to get to where I was, it was just like I had to struggle.
Yeah.
I had to struggle. I had to admit that I'm shit. I had to admit that, and I had to admit the fact that I set my own expectations way too high.
Oh, of course.
Even in
Me
school.
too. Yeah.
And I think that was my problem, was that you're probably too harsh on yourself.
I am very much a teacher's
when-
pet, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, it's just that thing. It's like you have so much. Is that you have so much talent. It's there. It's clearly there, and you expect to be able to just learn it, master it, and just become this huge success.
Exactly. And then you realize it's
your
not
adult
how that
life, but it's not how that works. It's just you have to work at your own pace. You have to understand where your own faults are at. You have to work your own demons to that, and
I think that's also the curse of social media, to be honest.
It is.
That
It's a huge curse.
When you see these reels, these TikToks, and it's like 30 seconds long for a painting or a drawing that took 30 to 90 hours to do. You can be told it took 30 to 90 hours, but if you don't see that struggle, if you don't see that patience and the switching of the supplies and the decisions and the discipline and the cramped shoulders and the tired back and the worn out neck, it means absolutely nothing to be told. This took 90 hours to make. It's just literally just numbers. That's it. And that's something that irritates me about YouTube, is that they really don't care per se about creators, like as far as in the artistry world. They just want content. They just want content. I thought that making videos of my, sometimes I'll do a painting and it takes like a week to a month to finish if I find the time, and, hours of work. And I make it into a 12-minute video and I think, well, that's good, because I want you to be able to see some of the struggle. I want you to appreciate some of the time and the effort that went into it. But that's not really what a lot of people are looking for. They just want to see, here's the start, a snippet of the middle, and then the end. And I think we lose an appreciation for artwork there, because it's not just about the image itself. Art, for me, is meant to produce conversation. So you get up close, and that's why people get really close to a piece of painting or a painting, and then they get farther back, because they want to see the individual strokes. They want to see, oh, they used orange right here. That's fascinating. I wonder why they did that.
Stop. Seriously, stop. You're speaking way too much.
You're speaking to me way too much.
Look at that.
Stop
A
reading
man
my
on the
mind.
internet just told a woman to stop.
reading my mind. Stop reading my mind. I'm like, stop it. That's what I'm thinking right now.
It's really sad. We've lost the appreciation for, and
you're
it doesn't
sounding like me. I'm like, it's like too much.
It's all scripted, folks.
It's
Don't
exactly
be
what
alarmed.
I'm thinking. It's like, yeah, this is exactly what I'm seeing. You know, that's the thing.
And that's where, and I think we may have touched on this when you were on my channel, and I that's where I have a difficulty with AI artwork. It doesn't matter if it's for images.
I understand. I totally understand
all of that stuff, because you're taking away the value of hard work, effort, and experience.
I get it. I totally get it.
I believe it has its place.
Everybody's concerns.
It has its place in my opinion, it has its place in the business world. It has no place in the art world. That's just me.
But the person who does have a place in this world is one of our co-hosts who just returned. Please welcome.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing.
Yes,
testing,
you're here.
1 2 3. Awesome.
Yes, you're here. Yes, you are here. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you. So glad you made it.
I'm sorry to be late. How are you today?
Okay. It's okay. It's
Never
okay.
apologize for who you are.
No, exactly. The only thing you have to apologize is for being late. And
well, unless you're a wizard, did you arrive precisely when you meant to?
Time.
It's noon.
Time which I plan on arriving.
You know what, Bruce, just for your troubles.
You're fired. Oh, right. You're unfired. I need you. Come here.
I understand.
That's an inside joke. I'll just laugh along awkwardly.
Understand. We're supposed to publicly shame you, so we'll wait till Matt gets here, or should I play it now?
If you wish to shame me with her, that'd be great.
Oh, with her.
Okay.
Moral support.
You're
No, the gossip, the buzz, the who said what, who does that, yeah, the scattlebug. Remember the swamp? Remember my song in the swamp when I was like, wham, chicka, wham, wham, chicka, wham.
I remember.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my shame right there. Have you listened to Aquafina for 2 hours straight?
You didn't watch the movie, did you?
Hell no. No.
Okay. We'd have to take you up back.
Exactly. Take back a little yeller.
Oh. Better.
That was the scuttlebutt, by the way.
Yeah.
That was the beautiful, delicious sounds of Aquafina.
I don't understand. She's famous, right? For some reason.
I know, right?
I don't understand how that happened.
Isn't she like a professional rapper? Like one of the few Asian rappers that we get to claim?
I don't care. We don't. I don't think we claimed her yet.
Stunning and brave. I completely agree with you.
But ladies and gentlemen, but no, Tabitha, if you want to continue, please. So sorry, I had to.
Oh,
there.
No, it was getting pretty deep. Maybe we needed to make things.
No. See, Tabitha, here's what you don't understand. Here's what you do not understand.
Oh, now I have a man telling me what I don't understand.
Okay. First off, no, that's not what I'm saying. Is what you don't understand is that here
you're gonna tell me to calm down.
No, actually, here on Makini
We're
Live.
baptizing cats, Tabitha. Just hold still.
Can you let me finish, please? Here on Makini Live, it gets deep. Like seriously, we get into these deep, like emotional kind of moments here.
Well, I mean, I nearly cried about 12 minutes ago. So
yeah, I know. So
wait, you made her cry without me?
He did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have to do it. She did it herself.
Well, it's because I was here listening to him, and it just made me weep.
We need to have like a harpsichord.
Don't tell me you got happy tears.
We need to.
I didn't say they were happy tears.
Okay, I gotta stop.
Mom.
It's an ongoing thing here that this has to stop, because it's a weird talent that somehow I make people cry when we get to when I get all personal.
Seriously, this is not. It's not making your mother any younger, Makini.
Listen, Listen,
Well, it's because
it gets
artwork
personal.
is deep. Yeah,
It's deep.
there's such a part of our soul that gets put into what we make, and it's why it's so personal. People say you know there's some things you just got to build a hard shell, and artists do, but because we put so much of ourself into what we do, when somebody doesn't like it, it's difficult to
It's-
grow that thick skin and say that it's not personal. Because when you say you don't like something that I make, it's difficult for me not to tell
Mhm.
myself they don't like me. It's like learning to separate that is very
No,
difficult.
it's just like it's a reason why, and Bruce is here, and they'll tell you that I don't take compliments that well. Like
It's
I
like
really
you
don't.
want them, but you don't want them once they happen.
It's hard. Yeah, really hard to kind of grasp them. But
Or are you
I
deflecting
take-
like I am? Somebody gives you a compliment and you're like, oh, please.
but I respond to criticism very well,
I don't.
like almost immediately.
Bombing runs over Afghanistan.
Because it's like those I appreciate. That's what I appreciate more, because
Oh.
because it's like you can
I know.
see day in and day out that I'm trying to get better. That I'm trying to get
Yeah.
faster at this, and I'm trying. I'm
I
really
have to convince
working.
myself that it's good to hear critique. I think because I just struggled so much with self-worth when it came to my
Sometimes
artwork. and my
when I
art
try to look
direction.
for, but even at the same time, when I try to look for critique, I don't really get too much of it.
Let her finish.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
I've
Dude,
never been
it's
treated.
okay if you step on me, but like don't
I'm
step on our
sorry.
guest.
I'm sorry.
Never
Tabitha.
been treated so poorly on a podcast.
Oh, you know.
Ex-
Please continue.
Well, I'm afraid to say anything else lest I be told to stop. So no, it's art. Well, and you were talking about crying and depth and all that stuff. I think what I love most about art, or as I've gotten older and have more experience, and then having the opportunity of teaching and sharing to other people, especially children, but honestly, I say especially children, let me reverse that, especially to adults. It's fun to teach kids, but they don't fully understand what exactly it is they're learning a lot. People don't realize how many life lessons can be learned through artwork, no matter what medium it is. It doesn't matter, because the fact that artwork teaches you humility, artwork works on your confidence, artwork teaches you patience, artwork teaches you compassion, and there's so much more that can be learned on top of building muscle. I tell my kids all the time when I'm teaching them that a lot of the paintings that we start off with a simple background, and I tell them it's kind of like an exercise. People don't consider the fact that artists have to develop muscles. You can't really see them unless maybe you're a sculptor, but you can't really see them. But you think about the development of the muscles in the hand and the fingers, the wrists, the shoulders, everything. I don't know about you guys. You ever sat down and did like a 5-hour drawing or painting session, creating session, and then at the end of it, you are just exhausted and your body just kind of sighs or relaxes because it's been under such stress for such a long time. Like when I hold a pencil or if I hold a paintbrush for so long, all of a sudden I realize my entire body has become stiffened so that I can get the precision that I've been trying to achieve in my paintings. And so people don't realize there's so much more to artwork than creating a pretty picture.
I would do you one better. Because
Oh, Card, sure. Now you're gonna one up me.
No,
All right.
Rain
Rain on my parade.
No,
Gotta
I'm not.
steal my thunder.
Never mind. No, what I was gonna say is, like, I'm doing this digitally,
Yeah.
and I'm already 2 hours in with this line art phase, and it's
And
like
it sucks.
it sucks. But the realization is that
Just-
you gotta have confidence, though. You gotta have like the confidence to be able to. You have to be confident in like your lines. You have to be confident in your strokes and your movements. And that one thing I'm trying to learn from a professional artist, Mark Brunette, is you have to start moving your arm. It's more than just moving your wrist. You have to start moving your arm,
Yeah.
especially when you're doing digital, especially when you're doing line work.
you have to start moving your arm. You have to be confident in, doing a stroke, drawing a single stroke,
Yeah.
being able to curve it. Make sure you have to have confidence in that and say, okay, I can do this. I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Eli, I would like to welcome you to the CSF Nation.
Woo, woo.
Well, oh my gosh. Is it Eli? Thank you, Eli, so much for becoming a channel member once again, by the way. Thank you, Eli, so much. You've been absolutely. I need to make a trailer for channel members, but thank you, Eli, for being a member at the Resonant level. Thank you so much, Eli. I'm gonna give you a $10 super. I'm gonna give that as the equivalent of a $10 super chat. As a equivalent of a $5 super chat. You are definitely cute, sexy, and fun. Thank you. Yeah, so
You need to work on your connection. There's so much static on your channel.
I can't. There's nothing I can do with that. There's just simply nothing I can do with that.
Channel 90 is still trying to work the bugs out of the system, Miss Tabitha. We have had we've got this analog transceiver that seems to send out this weird multicolored, like test the colors on your TV set.
Yeah,
from,
it's
Montgomery Ward sort of thing. I mean, this
it's.
perfectly
And I think
homo-
also it probably has to deal with StreamYard. It's just like if there's too much going on, it's like it's hard to just kind of keep it cleaned up. So no matter what I
So that's what the super chats for the channel go towards, folks. Your super chats support the
and
channel.
if anybody and anybody asking, next week I will be incorporating Street Fighter 6 clips to as super chat. So they will be coming next week. So
I'm already bored of that game.
I love it. So anyway, Tabitha, back to it.
Yeah.
What do you play, Bruce? Oh, I play Quake. Software rendering.
What is Quake?
From 1996, Tabitha, when you were just a wee little girl.
I was a wee lass.
Well, wee lad.
No, I've never been a wee lad.
Okay. Oh, that's right. I just.
How dare you assume her gender?
I was gonna say, look, all kinds of abuse.
Anyway, you were saying.
We're taking Tabitha after this to Super Target.
Super dark.
And I just reserved my spot in hell. C7.
C7.
I'm sorry.
Anyway.
I think what's really honestly bizarre about my art is that I love trying to do I'm striving more for realism and things like that, right? In my artwork, where there's painting, my drawings and stuff like that, working on shading. I love blending. But I think it's really funny that the art style that has benefited me the most, that I'm really not even that into, are chibis. Like that is what has made me the most financially successful, what people know me the most for. And it's like, I don't even really care about chibis.
I have chibi emojis for my channel members, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, on my Twitch, I made my own emotes. I made my own chibis and things like that. And they're super fun, and I really love them. And I like the way they look. It's just not the style, not the kind of creation I ever thought I would get into, because it's not what I grew up with, and I've never really been interested in things like manga and anime and stuff like that. And I just kind of fell into it. I decided to give it a shot, and apparently I'm pretty good at it. I think that's kind of weird and kind of sad at the same time, but good for Tabitha.
I don't think it's sad.
I do.
Why? I'm
Because-
honestly curious about that.
Because to me it doesn't make sense. Like something that I'm really
It
not into,
surprises you. It
something
surprises
that
you
I'm
that
not
you have
really
something
that
that you're,
interested in doing
and yet
is
you're
what.
good at it.
Yeah, I think that's really kind of sad because from my perspective, maybe not from an overall perspective, but just from a personal level, I'm like, why couldn't I have been this good at realism? That's what I'm actually wanting to do. But realism
here's
doesn't
the
pay the
thing.
bills all the time.
Well, that's true. But here's the thing: it's like, I've grown up. I've had people tell me all the time, to expand your horizons. Do not stick to one thing. And
Yeah.
I've always struggled. I've always struggled at drawing guys. And
Yeah.
yet,
Even your
the older-
curvaceous Mario on my channel.
yeah, that's the funny part
She
because
liked him thick.
that's the funny part because as the older I get, the more I understand it. The more I actually understand it, and I'm like, okay, I've gotten better at drawing guys now. I feel more confident in that.
Yeah.
It's
Takes you a while.
weird. It takes a while. Yeah, you almost have to adjust your brain, or
Yeah.
essentially just have to learn it in a different way. You have to approach it in a different way. And a lot of it is just approach. A lot of it is just how you approach things.
I guess. Could you elaborate? Could you expand?
I guess thinking of how you learn it or how you kind of break things down, because a lot of times when I do, because you see the stuff I do, and how I'm able to just kind of figure all this is just like, yeah, one, constantly failing, and but
Not
two,
failures.
They're called happy little accidents.
but
Makini.
no, they're not. They're called failures.
No,
But
happy
in
little
two,
accidents.
but the second thing is just breaking it down. Like, you just break it down to shapes. Break it all down to shapes and just kind of analyze it from there. You build it up from there. That's how I kind of mentally was able to do this. Like if this was me, and I'm dead serious. If this was me in, say, when I was 19, just getting into college, I'd be scared. I'd be scared out of my pants to be able to do this. Like, and that's the thing that kind of amazes you as you get older is like, and in the fact that if you keep doing it, if you keep studying, you keep learning, it's like the stuff that you were too afraid or you didn't think you could be able to do like 5-10 years ago, you're able to do that with just absolute finesse. And you had to learn. I had to struggle, and I'm still struggling at it.
Yeah, of course.
But because I've been so inspired throughout my life, and because there's so many artists I want to emulate, there's so many people I want to try to, rise up to become, that it's kept me going.
They're happy little accidents, Makini. Embrace it.
I've told you. I remember I told you the last time it was that when we had me on was that I had it's Drew, shut up. Anyway,
happy little accidents. Follow Saint Bob. Follow Saint Bob.
Okay. Anyway, to kind of basically kind of explain was that you have to be you're your own worst critic. So you could probably tell that I was probably harsh on myself, like mentally.
I don't know any really good artists that are like, everything I do is magic. I make no mistakes. Everything's part of the plan.
But it was a friend that told me that, dude, it's like, it's great that you take criticism well, you're harsh, you're your own worst critic, you take those critics to heart, you take all the criticism to heart, and I legitimately do. But there comes at a point where, dude, you just got to be happy about what you put out, and you just have to be personally happy about what you put out. And that's one of the personal things about art, is that you do it to make you happy as well. You do it to relieve. You do it because you want to express something. You do it because you're in the moment. And I started to appreciate, slowly started appreciating the work that I put out. I started being happy about what I put out. because I was in the right mood. I was in the right moment, or I feel like I achieved something. You know, it's those personal achievements that you're trying to make. And that's what this is. This is a journey. Like the reason why I say journeyman is because of this guy right below me. He coined that term. Because this is a journey. It's a journey.
Have you compensated him for that yet?
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right.
Of course I have.
Okay.
But this is a journey for me. This is a journey. And this is a personal journey that I'm going to be, you know, experiencing.
Personally walking?
Yeah, it's going to be personally walking my entire life. And I know for you, it's going to be the same.
Well, if you're an artist, like, it doesn't matter what you do. Like, there's something innately calling out for you to create something, even if it's trash. Like you were saying, like, you have to like what you do. I don't think that's, for me personally, I don't think that's necessarily true. But it's more of, like, not for every art piece anyway, but it's more of just, like, I just needed to make something. And a lot of times for me, sometimes it's not so much that I'm happy about what I made, but I'm happy that I did it, or there's an element in it that I'm happy about that I learned.
I cheat, or I was inspired by it. I do it because I was inspired by it. I was like, I want to do this. It's like there's so much I want to do, and you know, oh, sorry.
No. I'm sorry. I was going to cut you. I was going to cut you off.
That's what happens. We get so emotional that we cut each other off.
I'm not emotional. You might be. What a girl.
Okay, then. Just me. All right. Just me. No, but you know, you're inspired. You're feeling this. You're feeling that, or it's just like there's something you achieved personally that's like it's inside the drawing,
or just something you want to try.
Yeah, and you just like, wow, you nailed it. Like holy ish, you nailed it. You know, you can't rely on the likes and retweets and such.
And that's hard too in our day and age.
It's so hard.
Everything's the numbers.
It is so hard, you know. You can't let those numbers dictate what you put out. They don't dictate the quality.
So I'm just gonna say that if I wasn't into role-playing games and doing live plays, I wouldn't have a channel.
Yeah, so I could spend the rest of my life just being underrated. I'm fine with that.
I don't think I could. It's not my goal.
No, it's not your goal, and it's not my goal either. It's just.
I think it's just obvious, like you were saying earlier too, like when different walks of life, different perspectives, and like what you were saying with your experience of being, from what I gathered from your story, being so good at artwork, it almost made you feel alone because you weren't like other people, even though your artwork was really, really well, and so it wasn't like you were.
But it didn't have fundamentals though. But
right, like, you weren't looking necessarily for the praise. I was the opposite. I needed validation because I felt like I had nothing to bring to the table, and so it's kind of a curse for myself personally. Again, you know, you get older, you kind of learn to reevaluate things, but in the heart of hearts, it's like I don't want to be just underrated. I want my art to mean something.
Exactly.
There are some art pieces where it's like, yeah, totally, it can.
You know what? Honestly, I probably need to take back what I said there.
Hypocrite.
I need to. But
but I think everybody's kind of like that. You don't want, like, especially if it's an art piece, you put a lot of heart and soul, a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears into. You want it to mean something. It's kind of hard when you work on something for so long for you not to want to show it to somebody and be recognized for the talent that the skill that you've developed because of that talent. I think it's just a human experience. I think as we get older, of course, we reprioritize the validation of other people and what it truly means. Right. But it's hard not to create artwork and then not want other people to see it and have a positive reaction. Because art is meant to be seen. It's meant to be talked about. It's meant to provoke or inspire and influence.
Exactly.
And, so that's that's the thing. It's like we could work on something that really means something significant on a very deep level for us, and then you showcase it to the world, and they're like, "That's cute." Well, thanks. I just spent 60 hours on this.
You have to enjoy that. Right, and that's
Yeah.
something you just have to appreciate yourself because that is a personal
course.
like with that math like with the math test.
Mhm.
Personal accomplishment. It may not mean much to anybody else, but to you that means
Right.
everything.
Exactly.
And listen, I'm going to tell you this, and I've said this, and I will stand by this. I've touted this before. Listen, you don't realize that the great thing about art is that it's it can make yourself happy. It can make you happy. It can make you feel all these things, but it can make other people feel that too. Like you don't realize that you're chugging along. Listen,
The impact.
I can't stress this out enough. I can't stress this out enough how much this is the reward that I get. This is the reward I get. And I've said this before and I say this many times. You can just chug along. Just focus on trying to get better. Focus on trying to improve. Focus on trying to nail this and that. Focus on trying to be quicker and everything. You put the time in there. You're just focused, so zeroed in on your own work, on the quality of your work, and how you really feel about this and that. How much you really feel about this and that. You don't pay attention to anything else, right?
Mm.
Everything stops when you realize that you're so harsh on yourself that you don't realize that people will tell you how much your work has affected them.
Yeah, it's true.
I've made this story before, but I've had people tell me that they started drawing because
Emerald Taurus, sweetheart, that is such a pain.
It is.
Mm-hmm. It is.
But I've had people tell me, and I know you've had people tell you this all the time. I guarantee that you probably have people tell you this all the time more than they tell me, but that doesn't matter. But you
yes, one up on Makini.
No, but I've had people tell me just out of the blue. They told me that they started drawing because of me, because of watching these shows that I do. They were inspired to start drawing again. There's a person. There's a person in the. She usually hangs out in our chat. Her name is Julie, and she's a real life friend. Actually, she goes going all the way back to middle school.
A real person?
Yes.
You have friends not on the internet?
All of you people in chat, you're just going into those.
I don't know how to explain this. I really don't know how to explain this, Tabitha, because it's like
I was making a joke.
I know. No. But what I mean is, I looked up to her growing up.
Oh, okay.
She is incredibly talented.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, incredible. And seeing her again, and seeing her say that because of life and such, she didn't do as much drawing, but she said that saying that because that she discovered me and discovered that I never stopped, has wanted her to get back into it again.
Yeah,
that hits, and that hits hard,
Mm-hmm.
The person you've been idolizing, the person that you've been idolizing growing up, the person that you've been jealous of. I will be honest about that. But them to tell you that, you basically are getting them back into it. I don't know how to feel about that, man. I really don't. It's but it's just like to hear stuff like that, to hear being told like that. I'm like, that's what this is what I'm doing. That's what's worth doing this now. Because you're inspiring other people to do the same. You're inspiring other people the same way that you were inspired.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't realize that. You don't realize that. Because I'll tell other artists, like, you inspired me to do this, you inspired me to do that. But to hear that said right back from an unknown, to hear that said right back from an old friend, to hear that said right back from anybody, I don't know how to take that. It's so hard for me to take a compliment like that, because it's like,
well, it makes you feel a lot more important than what you may have given yourself credit for. And it's like, I have influence. I don't want to say power, that's not the wrong. I'll just stick with influence. I have influence more than I realized. And that kind of puts almost a sense of humility and responsibility. It's like, oh, I had no idea that somebody was watching.
Yeah.
And it also
somebody was watching, but somebody got into art or got back into it.
Mm-hmm.
That's.
But whenever we turn on the camera, we actually hope to walk away with a story like that. I mean, I'm not a great miniature painter by any means, but to hear people tell me, yeah, I tune in with you and Makini because I have a son that plays Warhammer, and I started painting figurines and showing him how I used to do it.
Yeah.
And now we've bought 3,000 points worth of Ratmen, which is a lot of freaking Ratmen. And then, you hear things like that all the time from people. And we want to hear that sort of thing. But if we don't hear it all the time, that's so much better, because otherwise something that's kind of tremendous for somebody else, it would become just blasé. Oh, that's great. Over
loses
40
meaning.
million
Yeah, it loses its meaning. So I'm glad that I hear that. But to have that, I'm always reminded of that, though. That's the thing, is that you use that for those moments. No, it doesn't happen that often, but to be told that, hits so personal with me, and that's been a driving force. And that's always been a reminder.
I can't say that I've been told that because of me people have started painting or drawing more, but I will say what encourages me, what makes me happy, what humbles me, is when I do my live streams, like when you were on and so many others, and I'm teaching these people, a lot of people, most of them who are not artistic, and they don't really have any experience, and I bring them onto my channel and I teach them how to paint something, and then afterwards, even when I used to work in the studio and seeing, especially the adults, seeing their face light up or change, for them to all of a sudden, because most of the time when people come on my channel, and even when I would teach in the studio, they always tell me, I can't even, it's always the same, I can't even draw a stick figure. You've got your hands full, all the regular cliches for people who don't think they can accomplish. Because again, they're looking at all of my years of experience. They're not looking at, of course, they can't see where I used to be. And so they're comparing my now to their now, versus what they could be, that potential. And so seeing their faces, because I think it's because I've been there. And so being able to let people feel what I felt after having a sense of accomplishment, and knowing that the sky is the limit, that if you really wanted to, if you could really try, and if you had the right person encourage you and show you how, you can do anything. And it might not be, I tell my students and stuff like that, it might not be your calling. You might not be an artist, but that doesn't mean that you can't take the time to create something beautiful because you wanted to. Like, it really is. It's like, don't tell people you can't be something, even if it's not necessarily your calling. And I think that for me is the best feeling as an art teacher, and just as an artist overall. It's the fact that I can help people not feel how I felt. I felt so lost. I felt so bewildered. I felt so incompetent and insignificant when it came to art. And that, again, kind of affected me overall, because that mindset carries into a lot of different aspects of our lives, right? If we think we can't do one thing, we typically think we can't do another thing. And so, you know, even though it might seem like it's something small, like artwork, people again don't really understand the value that art brings to a person's life when it comes to creation. And so, like I said, at the end of the stream, when people look at it and they're like, okay, all right, it's not, even when they say this isn't exactly what I thought it would be, but I'm not mad. I'm really actually impressed. And then you have the people that sincerely are just awed by themselves and what they were able to make. It isn't even, you know, again, as an artist and somebody who's doing this for years, you know, I can look at their painting and it might not be the best thing. It's kind of wonky. It's a little bit misshapen, whatever the case is. That's not the point. The whole point is to, number one, have fun together, learn something new, and then just see that reaction of, I can do this if I really wanted to. And to see that they were so impressed with themselves, not with me, but they were impressed with themselves. I just basically guided them on their journey, but they did it themselves. I think for me, that's the biggest reward, really, than the recognition.
Right. It's just like, yeah, sorry, it's just kind of a weird feeling, you know.
Are you gonna cry? Need tissue?
No.
I'll get it to you. I'll mail it.
No.
Makini, second drawer, left-hand file cabinet. There's the Makini brand Nexus. Make sure you get up center in the camera.
Yeah, but you know, it's it's those moments that, you know, like we said, it's those moments that's worth doing, you know. You can't. You it's like people tell you can't. It's like, no, you tell you can. Like Riot Kitty was just saying, you know, my vacation was spent with my mom. I want Timmy to sell myself, and I really can. It's like, you can. It's like when people tell you can't. I was like, I can't draw. It's like, actually you can. You actually can learn to do this.
You can learn, exactly. People don't realize that a lot of artwork is learning, not so much being talented, but is actually learning, and that it might unlock a certain element, a certain talent that you didn't realize was there, but you just need somebody to show you. And then also being exposed to different art styles, like you were saying, you know, my brother is artistic in that he's a great builder, right? But he also can draw, but his drawing style is so different from mine. He loves drawing kind of like architectural, like engineering style. He loves drawing on grid paper. He likes the perfect lines. That's not me.
Requires that, you know, and the thing is that, you know, architecture and stuff like that, especially interior design, that requires a lot of math. Exactly. It's a lot of math to understand that.
And
it's
people
almost more science than artistic ability.
Yeah, and there's a lot of science behind it too.
People don't tell you about that when it comes to artwork. They're like, "Oh, you're actually
awesome,
going to need a lot of history,
so cool.
science, and math."
But it's so cool, though. That's like real cool doing that. Though it's like, wow. It's like I don't have that math aspect. I don't have that scientific aspect in mind to be able to come up with something like that. And it's like, even when you're studying even when you're studying like aerodynamics and such like that, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of math. There's a lot.
Because I mean, he would do his own like Star Wars starfighters and stuff like that, and he would have them all crisp and perfect, and they're just so awesome. And me, I'm just like, they're too curvy and they're wiggly.
Well, and that's the thing is that like, because I'm
a little free spirited myself.
Well, no, because it's like if there's one thing that I guess I do have a knack for is vehicle design and being able to study that. And it's like,
I don't.
Yeah, it's you know, and a lot of it is just trying to and a lot of it is, and there's probably a math behind it, is trying to study it. It's like, it's a lot of studying, trying to figure out you can't shape, you know, it has to be of a different shape at this specific angle and this specific angle to be able to get it right and such like that. It's like, wow, it's so much behind, there's so much behind it, there's a lot of thought behind it too. You know, it's not just willy-nilly, you know?
Yeah, I think because artists get painted, no pun intended, but they get painted in this light of it just comes naturally. We just go with our feelings. In a way, a lot of times we do go on instinct and or mood. Yes, but like you said, there's a lot of studying involved. There's a lot of practice involved. We have to learn how to do things properly before we can, basically we have to learn what the rules are before we can break the rules with our mood and everything. But even then you have to follow the rules. That's why I tell my kids all the time, you need to have, even in fantasy creatures, which is what I predominantly focus on, you have to have an element of realism. Otherwise it doesn't make any sense. So like if we're going to paint a dragon, yeah, we can make it with 2 heads, 3 heads. You can have fire coming out of its,
But yeah,
but there has to, but you have to get the lighting just right. It needs to have nice composition. There's got to be some balance there. Sure, you can put an eye on his left flank, but it's not going to make sense. And if you need it to make sense, then you got to shade it right so it looks right. So it actually looks like an eye. There are rules that you have to follow. It doesn't just happen. You have to learn them.
The same thing with me. It was like just like for me. It was just like studying anatomy and basically failing at it every time. Anatomy and failing at it every
observational.
time. Yeah, it's observational. It's like you have to study body parts, you have to study anatomy, this, that, how. And not only that, like for what I'm doing, because I'm doing it at a lower angle, you have to study it like you're looking at a 3-dimensional picture or something like that.
Yes.
To not make it feel so flat. You have, if you want to do something at a dynamic angle and you want something to really just like, because I've been a sucker for dynamic angles and sucker for just making stuff that looks really just dynamic, like whether it's from the top or from the below. It's just because I'm not a fan of just like it's just kind of boring to me doing it straight. Doing it straight at you. It's just like do the pose, find it something that could feel like there's a lot of energy behind it, or it feels like it works, and there's something that just it feels dynamic. That's something I love doing it. Yeah, and basically figure drawing, which I am mediocre at, but I had to fail a lot before I could even understood it.
I've got a set of shelves in the other room with about 7,000 failures that I put on camera intermittently throughout the year. So I get it. You got to fail a lot. If you're not willing to put the work in, if you're not willing to go through reams of paper in discovery of what you and your body can do, you just find another hobby. Just grab a coloring book and a bottle of some horrible swill and just be happy that you can stay within the lines and do that.
Practice, develop your skills. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't. It's just that you don't have, because I've been so inspired, because there's so many things I want to achieve. That tagline I always say, never stop drawing, is a code I live by, because that's what got me here. Because I don't have a reason to stop. I can't find a reason to stop.
You could have a reason to stop if you wanted to play the victim card.
Yeah, but
Makini.
But
he's
I
an
can't.
artist. He's a cool guy. He's relaxed. Victim.
I can't because I know for you, I know you think the same way. This is like breathing to you.
I have to do it, even on the days that I don't want to, if you will. It's like something inside that says,
yeah,
I need to make something.
Yeah, it's like breathing. It's like you can't, I don't know if it's like me, where you cannot imagine what your life was like if you didn't have this talent or didn't have this desire to do it.
Do you guys, I just would like to ask, do you guys have a doodle that you always go to if you get the urge to draw something, but you don't know what to draw? Mine would be eyes or trees.
I have...
Like, you can't really do them wrong, so it's just something I always gravitate towards.
I don't have one doodle.
Mm-hmm.
I have like 30 of them.
30,000.
I've collected all my sketchbooks since high school.
No. What I mean, I'm sorry. So what I mean is, like, if you find yourself, let's just say you're stuck at the airport, you're at a seminar, whatever the case is, and you need to draw something, but it's not like you want to sit down and make a perfect creation. You just need to draw. You just need to doodle. Is there a certain subject or certain object that you just always gravitate to? Like I said,
it's probably stuff like this. I will admit, it's probably stuff like this that I always gravitate to. It's probably just kind of what gets me going. It's just
He's
What are
gonna
you saying?
do some Jury or Chung Li off of like old Street Fighter.
Or it's just it's stuff like this, and it's like and the thing is that because I've never had to ask people. Well, people have asked me like, how do you deal with artist block, and it's like me being always inspired and always having a reason to draw something is
here comes
kinda
the
how I
bragging
draw.
rights again.
No.
Must be nice. Must be nice. I have writer's
Maybe.
or drawer's block, whatever, artist block all the
I
time.
just I no, it's just
Some of us
I
can't
get-
be perfect, okay?
no. What I'm saying,
Some of us were born without wings. I just like to state.
I know you're just messing with me now.
Tabitha,
What I'm saying is,
Tabitha, if you look over here, and then you pan this down, you see all these various figures.
Yeah.
So I don't, and my aspect, my quote unquote, my art is a little different than a lot of others. Mine is just figures. So I mainly just have to look at a couple websites, see what might be the lesson of the day from some of the artists in the field, Julie Guthrie or Aaron Lovejoy and Liz Hunt, and just maybe look at that for a little bit and then pick it up, go.
and
having an art like that is really cathartic because while I have friends like Mock and people like you who influence very, very well, and I love your shading, by the way. Your shading, chef's kiss.
Gorgeous.
It's like my favorite thing to do besides blend. Well, blending is my favorite thing to do. So thank you.
It's gorgeous.
I studied a lot of Baroque style when I was doing freehand,
Mm-hmm.
and I really appreciated somebody that could do a good light sourcing on figurines, on hands, and on faces. You doing that, that's really good. Are you East Coast?
I'm East Coast, yes.
Okay.
I am. I appreciate that. I was going for. It's funny because I was going for a mermaid fin, but now that I'm doing it, I'm like, is it seaweed? I don't know, which actually kind of works.
But it gets to kind of what I guess kind of answer what your question, Tabitha, was that I guess because I carry so many of my references with me, and I have them up with me all the time. It kept me from having a block.
I think something I struggle with is like I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of ideas of what I want to paint, but when I sit down, it's almost like I'm overwhelmed and I don't know where to start. And that's where I have to like force myself to do something simple before it can get extravagant. That's typically where I struggle the most.
Let me ask you this, do you like thumbnail it before you get started?
No. Because I can see it in my head. It's more of like, it's almost like I know sometimes my thoughts are too complicated. It's where I know where I need to start, but I don't know how to start, and I get overwhelmed by starting, so that I never start.
Well, here. I'll show you this. Hang on. Let me hit save. Let me hit save real quick, and I'm gonna show you just kind of the process for this. Like, all right, let me go over. We're gonna switch layouts to the oh, Bruce, by the way, this is the new layout. By the way, I made some new layouts for the guests, so hope you like
Fantastic.
that. Yeah, so I did promise to do that.
I'm digging the font.
Yeah, kept it all the same. But so when I doing something like this was just like I had to thumbnail it, and I just had to keep it simple. It was like, so let me show you.
Yeah.
So this is
I have a hard time with simple.
don't we all? But I just like for stuff like this, I'll just make like a bunch of squares and then just start looking for poses and then just try to just find some, and find whatever you check off, whatever you like. And then if anything, tickles your fancy or anything that you really like, just go for it. And that's kind of what it comes up with this, You know, I probably have to go through like a couple pages of thumbnailing just to get the idea down for what I want to go for. But
And that's a weakness of mine. I would rather I don't want to do practice runs. And this is my own fault. I don't want to do practice runs. I don't want to give it a try. Like I just want to create. That's where I'm working on it currently in this stage of my life, the season of my life, is that Tabitha, remind yourself that you just need to start somewhere, because I just wanted to be good the first time around, because I'm afraid of wasting. You know, paint ain't cheap. And
oh yeah, no.
So that's where I hesitate, because I struggle with not wanting to waste, which I know it's never a waste because it's always a learning moment. But logically, then my brain is I always tell people that Gollum and Smeagol, they're my spirit animal. You know, it's the same person with two different personalities.
Right.
Like I'm like that free spirit where I'm like, just go for it and just see where the wind carries you. And then the other part of my brain's like, yeah, but paint's expensive, and if you don't know where you're going to start, then you have just wasted your time and your resources and your money.
That's what it was. That's what it was with me when I have with my markers, because I have a set of markers that are all expensive. It's not Copics, but you know, those markers need to last, and if you're overly like using them, it's like you're gonna wear out easily. So you just got to be very careful with how you kind of use them as such. But you know, that's why even when we do traditional, I start sketching. I just sketch ideas. I just sketch like the thumbnail first in pencil, and then just do a full rough sketch, and then erase it. Do a rough sketch over it, and then start inking. You know, that's how I kind of do with the sketch diary and everything like that. So, but it's like kind of like everybody kind of has a way to do it. It's just like for me, it was just, I feel like that's better than just trying to just jump right into the deep end and just throw yourself out there, because you know, like what you were saying, you kind of get too afraid to and such, and you have like so overwhelmed by so many different. You're overwhelmed because you probably have so many different ideas rushing through your head. And you want to try them all out. You're like,
it's true. And to settle on one main idea, just to get past the could be, would be's, fantasy, extremist stuff, and just like, I just want to paint this. And then once you get that foundation on, that's when that creative mentality, that inspiration will kick, and you'll start doing weird things that work.
Do you ever get that sense where you're like, there's so many ideas that you want to put one, you just have to pick one, and you're going to save the other ones for later? You just like,
so frustrating.
You forget.
Yeah. It's so frustrating sometimes.
I know, it sucks. It's like, dang it.
I hate to be a buzzkill. I don't know if you saw my messages in the private chat.
It's time to get out of here.
I'm gonna have to. I hate it because this has been so fascinating. I love finding other artists, and that's why I would love to have you back on my channel with some other artists as well. And
can I ask? Would you like to come back to the studio and do this show? Okay,
I would. I love hanging out with artists. Like, I need this. You already heard my heart jerking story about where and even to this day, except for maybe on YouTube, and even that it doesn't count. I don't really have a lot of artist friends. Like, I'm the artist of the group, you know. Like,
I'm happy to be the artist friend. No, at least
excellent. Excellent.
And
I've enjoyed it.
And of course, we do have to come up with a very clever scheme to get Arwen to come on your channel. For real.
I've just decided to hand it over to God and pray.
Don't give up. I'm just saying,
light a candle. I might sacrifice a goat or something just to see what happens.
Let's not go there.
Wine. Sacrifice the grapes. Arwen will come.
We have to trick Arwen into, you know, like saying like, hey, it's like we have to figure out a work. And I think my plan work is whatever the Sunday that whatever the like decide like whatever day that you are going to stream. And then what I can do is I could ask Arwen if she would like to come on this particular Sunday, and then trick her into giving the link, which turns out to be on your channel. Just be like, but you can't tell anyone. You have to be like,
it's terrible. She's probably just like, guys, I'm not that bad. Like, no, it's just fun, but come on now.
She's been waiting for a long time. It's been a running joke.
And it really is just the running joke. I understand that life is busy.
I know.
Yeah, like it's all good.
We love you, Arwen.
Yeah, I do. I think she's sweet and hilarious, and she's got a lot of wisdom. So I like popping in. I don't make myself announce because then it's like Ravenclaw. But
exactly.
She tells number one, she has a great way of telling stories that are like, you and I could tell these stories and they're just like average stories, right? And nobody would care and be like, oh, interesting Tuesday. Versus if she tells the story, it is like a circus happen in her living
room. Like, how is this happening? Like, it's like there's a running joke that I do that every time she says something, I have to quote it in the comments, and I have to put Arwen Avalon 2023 because we need to put a dictionary of everything that she said since she first discovered this community.
This is a trip.
Everything she says is a meme. It's like somehow it's just like we love her for it. It's like but anyway. We'll figure that out. Out later. So let's go ahead and send you out. So unfortunately, we are. So I like that we start. I like that last week we didn't have Bruce on, and now this week it's the other way around. It's no MamaBear, but it's completely understandable. However. Despite that, I still have to shame you for it.
The gossip, the buzz, the who said what, who does that, yeah, the scuttlebutt. Remember the swamp? Remember my song in the swamp when I was like, wham, chicka, wham, wham, chicka, wham.
I remember.
Why did they bring that woman a recording contract and a microphone?
She sounds like a
That is my torture. Yeah. That is my shame.
She sounds like she's having the worst poop of her life. And trying to beatbox at the same time.
I know. She had something that she needed to do. She said she was going to try to get there, but it's okay. It's okay. No, I don't owe anybody a boomer clip. Okay, so stop it, Jay. All right,
did you do that to us?
That's what you get for being late.
No. Cut me off on the jury feet pics, or don't email me any more of those slim thick girls at the gymnasium. But for crying
that's what
out
you do to me.
Sakes.
Oh, that's what you do to me.
Hey, I'm sorry. Last week I was with my wife in the hospital making sure she didn't die from anaphylactic shock. I didn't realize shellfish bad. She didn't realize shellfish bad.
I know that's what I'm doing. We joke. But, okay, I understand the situation.
Anyway, Tabitha, it's been. We need to hang out more often. Oh, and I see you have a.
We need a set. We need a part 2. We need a part 2.
And I see that she has a purple mattress as well.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, Tabitha, let's get because I know you got to get going. So how about
I'm so sorry, guys.
First, no, absolutely no. It's been a pleasure. So please tell them where they can find you. All of Tabitha's links are in the description, guys. So make sure you subscribe to her as well.
Make sure you click the subscribe and then click her bell notification to see all of her OnlyFans accounts.
Oh, you do get to see my face. I'll give you that on my channel. Get more than just hands. But yeah, follow me on YouTube, Twitch, and you can follow me on Instagram. Don't follow me on Twitter, but it's all Dreaming Tabitha, pretty consistent. And just trying to create some artwork, and then I stream game. I try to do artwork on Twitch, and this ended up doing games. So, but it's lots of fun.
You know what?
It's all right. I was seeing somebody trying to get Tabitha to subscribe or be a good friend to Fat Steven Seagal for Fortnite.
So, Tabitha, you know what I realized?
Yeah.
What the next time we have you on, I should do a traditional drawing stream, so it's just nothing but hands. We'll just call it the hands council stream. It'll just be all hands. All you'll see is nothing but hands.
How do they do that? Like the birds and the
It's like finger puppets and such like that. It's just all about hands.
Creep the people out who have that phobia.
I know, right? Exactly. You're
perfect.
You know, there's probably a fetish for that or something right now.
There is. Yeah.
Monetize it.
ASMR hand stream, what's wrong with our hands, we talk with our hands and such like that. So Tabitha, thank you so much. Next up, Bruce Lombardo. Bruce, good to see you back, my friend.
Hey, I'm glad
Tell
to
them
be
where they
back.
can find
my
you.
name is Bruce, and my camera is trying to get out of focus. All right, so come by my stream if you enjoy Paint and Chills, if you want to listen to two people rip apart a movie on Monday nights, or if you want to hear 6 game masters talk about their 85 years together combined of sitting behind a DM screen on Thursday nights. My name is Bruce Lombardo, and I thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. There you go. Guys. Bruce, you guys know where to find him as well, and he will be back next Sunday. So, and hopefully Mads will be back next Sunday as well. Anyway, I know she will. All right, and then last, certainly not least me. Thank you all, everybody, for being here, guys. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Tabitha, as always. So, we will continue this on tomorrow morning show, Makini in the morning. They'll get your Monday morning off on the right foot. I remember when Tabitha showed up 2 Mondays ago. It was like live. It's Makini. I was like, oh, I like that. I'm gonna remember that. But no, this is Highwire from last season's Fortnite Battle Pass, and she will be available for all channel members that are resident tier and up. There will probably only one variation of just this. I might do a second variation where she has her mask on but not the hood up. So stay tuned for that. We will be continuing that on tomorrow morning's show. Hopefully by tomorrow morning, I should be well versed into the shading. At least I should be up already into the shading, or at least the first layer of rendering. First level of rendering here. Speaking of which, I will have. I did put up some other pieces. Put up another sketch yesterday on Twitter. If you guys have not checked that out, please do so. And also the Vidal cell shaded sketch that I did, that will be for all tiers as well. So I'm really kind of getting into the cell shaded, experience here, and we're gonna do the same for Highwire here, as she's gonna be cell shaded too. Now as far as videos go, I am going to try to get started on the sketch diary because that is long overdue, like 6 months overdue, and we're going to make a sketch diary video. So we will see you. And hopefully by Monday I should have it. If not, then we'll have to push it back to next Monday again. However, there will be another time lapse, and that is the Vidal time lapse. That'll be later on this week. So stay tuned for that. And then of course we'll be back here next Sunday. No guests next Sunday. It'll just be the regular show that we do here. And stay tuned for tomorrow, guys. I do have a new intro and outro and format for Makini in the morning, so stay tuned for that. And I'm thinking next Sunday we might do a part 2 of the AMA that we did a couple of months ago. So we might do another Ask Maki Anything stream as well. So I figured you guys would like to see that, but we'll stay tuned for that. But that is it for me, and unfortunately, Tabitha did have to take off. So we big thank you to Tabitha for being here. But it is what it is. So, but thank you guys so much. If you guys can, please share the stream out. Step on that like button. If you're brand new here, hit that subscribe button, guys. We are working our way towards 1,500 by the end of the year. That is going to be our goal. And if you guys want to support us further and get access to exclusive art work that you guys are not going to find anywhere else, you can do so becoming a channel member today. So, Tabitha, thank you so much for being here. And of course, Bruce Lombardo, MamaBear. I am Makini90, Arts German Illustrator, and we thank you for tuning in to the greatest Sunday afternoon art show on YouTube, Makini Live. Until next time, take care, much love, and as I always say, never stop drawing. Bye, guys.
Yes, the accommodations for Makini Live are provided by Imperial Suite Hotels in Arcadia Village, right in the heart of Pacifica City. Yes, to the show, fly Tuck and Roll Airlines. It's the official airline of Makini Live with over 300 destinations worldwide, including to and from the CSF Nation. Fly Tuck and Roll Airlines. Remember, you can't SKOOL without a little tuck and roll.
And by the way, everybody's channel members will be updated. Eli, I will add yours next tomorrow on Makini in the morning, if not next Sunday. Thank you. Later, guys.
Makini Live is filmed before a live studio audience.
Makini Live is a Makini Draws production. Makini Live is a Makini Draws production in association with Channel 90 Television and is distributed by CSF Nation Domestic Television Distribution.